So welcome to the second roundtable for the day. I called it roundtable because this seems to be one of the most pressing problem of the day, logistics. In fact, there's something very unique about logistics in the last 5 to 6 years. Right since COVID, we have been having one or another disturbances in the global logistics, which has been creating a lot of problem from the supply chains. And hence, it is important that we discuss that. As we discuss this, nobody even anticipated that, though one thought there would be some minor war between Israel and Iran, this has taken a very different dimensions, not only affecting Iran, Israel, and US being a partner, but whole of the Middle East. And while logistics may be one of the disturbances that we see, the global market that India has in the MENA region has been totally affected in the last few days. And I think it seems to be more disturbed for future as the war escalates. And as we see, the war has at least become a West Asia war in that sense. What are the critical impact for the automotive industry, OEMs, auto components, tire companies, spare parts company? What are the key critical challenges that we face here? So we will start with you, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, all the dignitaries and my co-panel members. As we start this panel discussion, all of us assembled here, all of us, the auto or other industry fraternity, we have a most difficult task on hand. And as Dr. Singh mentioned, this kind of a problem has become a normal situation in the market. But how we are able to manage these situations is going to be our success factor. Let us look at the complete scenario in the global context, where we are seeing one or the other event affecting the logistics, entire supply chain, and crippling the total manufacturing and the other value chain activities. But here, how we can overcome these, how we can safeguard ourselves in this situation. I know we cannot make 100% solution for these kind of unforeseen events. It is humanly impossible. Even AI cannot do it. Humans cannot do it. But how can we protect ourselves, de-risk ourselves proactively? That we need to look at it. In my opinion, we cannot make 100% localization in an automotive industry. I am also in this industry nearly 40 years. We cannot make 100% localization. It is impossible because we are integrated into global economy. And many of our raw materials are impossible to make in India. So we have to depend on other countries, other nations, other companies. It is very obvious. So the logistics becomes very critical. So how can we make ourselves protected? In the beginning, it's very important that when we choose the suppliers, we have to be conscious of the fact that these risks have to be foreseen. And the logistics systems, the inventory buffer, all this need to be planned well in advance to take care of these risks. It is like, you are taking a medical insurance. You are knowing that you are healthy, but you don't know what will happen later, so you want to take a medical insurance. The same way, we need to be aware of the fact that we are going to live in uncertainty and we need to take some insurance. This is where the buffer stocks will help us. This is where the dual sourcing will help us. This is where the logistics contracts need to be designed so that we are able to protect maximum risk and, of course, not 100%. Again, I am telling you. And that is where we need to use our experience of making the contracts with the suppliers and evaluating the risks beforehand these kind of situations. I hope this will help us to manage it better. And in the event of this kind of war situations or a COVID-like situations, we must have alternative logistics plans such as using air mode for emergency situations, or we must have some stocks built in the free trade warehouse zones to make our supplies or production smoother. And this is where we can overcome to some extent, but it is not possible to make 100% solutions with the unpredictability. This is my take.
Yeah, Mandar, your views on this?
Good day to all. With reference to the discussion, now for every OEM or everybody first is asking keep the safety stock and safety stock, but some are the electronic components, especially because I am also a sufferer for that I am saying. I just want to explain the scenario. The OEM some required electronic parts, and that is always in hand to mouth situation globally. So right now the material is available in USA or Europe, but I am unable to bring in India due to this war situation or backlog on the airport and all that thing. That time also this stock is were really helpful. The whole supply chain, now the bottleneck is that's the route. So the design of the routes in such way that in any scenario that material we can bring with a different alternative. This thing we require to address because this is the key learning. Then second thing is that if routes are available, that is also with the optimized cost. That is also second challenge for us right now. And third thing is that these are the resources. Now if you see the scenario, the USA and the Europe and the affected area is the Asia. So as a Asia, we need to develop such a capability that whatever the material they are producing in USA and Europe, that facility should be available here. Because all OEMs always giving customer directed source. So we have the options, we only go for that. We cannot say that with the OEM, means we cannot argue with the OEM. Same way, that one point is that contract, we have to define the contract in such way that this should be the take care. Now the lot of discussion, lot of articles are coming due to this bottleneck of that. Now the freight forwarder, then all are changing the rates, and suddenly they are declaring, insurance companies have declared this is the force majeure, we will not consider anything. So as a user or as a consumer, where to look? So these are the policies also need to define with the intervention of the government. Now these challenges for the planning point of view, we have a forecast, we have a demand planning, all softwares, but everything, man, material, machine is everything available. But due to the logistic movements, we are unable to bring the material. So these are the things also we need to address in our analysis or the AI driven tools which required in the future. So these are the key learning and the challenges which we are currently facing in the OEM that I want to contribute here.
Yeah, Gajender?
Good afternoon, everyone. Just sharing my experience. 24 years back, I started my career in international logistics itself. I was with Honda that time. And since 2002 to 2020, this international logistics, shipping and all, so smooth. I think that is basically the highest neglected area in supply chain, correct? We're just talking on that one. In 2020, when this COVID start, then all of a sudden this come into the focus. There was a one, and that time, unfortunately, again, I was into the international logistics, handling that in terms of the Goodyear Global, where just shipping around 200,000 containers, TUs, every year. That time that the McKinsey put that the one article that between last 20 years that all these shipping companies, as most of them is basically the registered companies, they have those stocks and all. And the article was like, they have burned the billions of dollars of the shareholders' money. But in 2-3 years, they earn hundred of billions of dollars, so they secure their future 50 years losses if that kind of situations repeat again. My experience on that one, what is happening on that? They see in supply chain, procurement, or in operation that the business continuity is a very important factors. When I started my career, we always work on some critical components and all with the L1, L2 and such, if we, whatever the option we want to keep to ensure that the business continuity protected. Over the period of time, people start to take the things granted and focus more on the cost optimization, and if in that whole process they are getting the cost savings and all, they are ready to put all their eggs into the one basket. Now, in 2020, many companies realize, but then when they realize, then definitely it's going to have that in terms of its own time to develop the alternate sources and all. Now, since 2020, we are just seeing continuously in last 6 years, we have seen many disruption, correct? Not only that the COVID, then we have seen that the Red Sea challenges, we have seen some of the challenges on the Panama Canal as well, some related to the environmental bit and all that bit. In that whole thing, I just hearing that Mr. Mandar, that the inventories are there. See, in this whole thing, I think my experience says inventory is not a solution. Till the time we are not protecting the pipeline, continuous pipeline, inventory is not going to help us. And the important learning here, basically, the two learning what I want to share. One is basically we need to always have that the mindset of the business continuity and always working on the alternate sourcing. That is one. The second one, when we are into this situation, how we are utilizing or allocating our resources. Many times we have seen that one, we might get the containers, but the material what we filled into that one that might not require immediately, and the material which is required immediately that might not fill into the containers. So what is happening on that one, that the logistics integration to our in terms of the supply planning, demand planning or raw material planning that need to be integrated. Yeah, so these are the two things I think that's going to help us. Otherwise, these kind of situation will continue and we might see these are the challenges. Yeah.
Yeah, Moses?
Yeah. Hi. Hello, everyone. My name is Moses, and I represent Enmovil. So we are an AI solution company exclusively for logistics and supply chain. We work with a lot of manufacturers, and I actually share all of their pain points. And my 2 cents on this is we speak a lot on AI, right? I'm here to say that AI is there for you to scale your business. It is not for you to decide. It's never. So I'm on a stage, I'm telling you this, that we as an AI company, we give you options, right? We share your pain, we give you options. We look at what is the available solution, because we are big in dispatch planning. We do inventory planning, we do warehousing, we do TMS. You know, we work with the likes of Maruti's, Mahindras. I'm not going to get into my portfolio much. My other biggest concern that I'm facing with my current clientele is data. For us to give an output, I need data. So with the war scenario, with European companies, with US companies, there is so much of protocols, right? If I don't get data, how do I give you the right output? So I can't promise you that I'll give you 99%, but I can promise you that I'll give you 75%, right? It's understood. So with me and my clientele, our discussion is, hey, look, you give me the data. Like, I've been working with a couple of European companies wherein the data is because of GDPR, because of, you know, if there are a pharma company or, you know, you have this, I'm not getting that certification, it's a different certification, HIPAA, right? And all of this. So as an AI company, as a solution, if I get the data, I can give you the right kind of dispatch planning that you need. So the problem with the war and with the raw material providers from international companies or countries is basically for us to integrate into their ERP for me to get the data so that I can help the local vendors to give you the right kind of dispatch planning, inventory planning, and your warehousing.
All right. One of the panelists sent me this, and it's very interesting that he wrote on this. For this very reason, I had to miss today's panel discussion. That's fundamental. Then he writes, vessels got stuck towards Jebel Ali port. Now we are searching for possible alternative options. Our material, men and businesses are stuck. And this is being March, we need to still achieve our targets. So very important part of it. And then he writes, very interesting. So there is no point having AI driver forecast or great system. What matters is how resilient and adaptive our supply chain is. I think he couldn't come, Praveen Narapagar from Tata Motors. I think it is very critical that while we build up systems will remain enablers. It is the complete physical and geographical structure of your business and the geographies and boundaries of your business that you understand, you can serve. Your business continuity program will be dependent upon your understanding of global logistics. And I think this is a missing link. For too long, as someone rightly said, I think Gajender said, our global logistics has worked very well. Amazing. And globalization becomes a very important part of it. Suddenly, with all this happening, we are questioning globalization. Everything is wrong with supply chains now, everything along with shipping, everything along with logistics. In that sense of the term, one of the fundamental challenges that this particular war in Asia faces is not only the supply of critical component is in danger, your global logistic is stuck where it is struck. If there is any movement in the logistics coming to the port and they're offloading and it's full of containers lying there. In fact, it's defining a very different trade. Trade lanes are chalked up with containers wherever they have to be chalked up. How do you manage this is a very critical element. How do you work during a crisis of this kind is very important. Identifying these problems are easy. Working in this particular problem is very difficult. And this is where I think it needs to be planned in a very different way. So I'll bring in PadmaKumar to give a view. In our discussion, he also said the same thing. So I think let us get some views of how do you create business continuity. That was a very difficult question that is posed. But how do you build this business continuity? Logistics is what it moves goods from here and there. But how do you move in such situations?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is PadmaKumar and I represent Yokohama. In fact, I was designed to talk about AGV, but the question is different.
This is called disruptions.
Okay. So it is a classic example of, we are living in a VUCA world. Okay. So that is vulnerable, uncertain, challenging, ambiguous or anxious, whatever it is. And it's a classic example. So I was supposed to speak about AGV and the subject was AGV. Okay, good question that you asked. Okay, so let me take the example of tire industry. Okay, where I've been in tires for 40 years. This is my 40th year in tires. Okay, so we all feel that tire is round, black. Okay, mass produced. But I wanted to let you know that tire is a very highly engineered product because it is like a balloon on which we all ride. It's a very super designed safety product, and it is a highly cost and manufacturing tires so far. It has been it is a vertically integrated, highly capital intensive, and a lot of manning. And that has been the history so far. So the advent of COVID, it changed the entire scenario changed. Okay, so from the vertically integrated manufacturing setup, tire industry is now going to a modular kind of industry, modular. Okay, so what we currently do is we have the upstream equipments ready, and then based on the customer requirements, we keep on adding modular manufacturing facilities so that it is flexible manufacturing and modular manufacturing. So when we are talking about the uncertainties, okay, so you said definitely inventory is not, because it is going to be a working capital. It is very dear to all of us. Right. Then what is going to be the solution? Okay, so somebody said export processing zones, or interim warehouses, and we just met the previous speaker who spoke about a Pro Mart. Okay, so good solution. Okay, they are somewhere centered in, and we definitely wanted to speak to him and understand as to how they can help us, so that we can download our inventory and see whether catalog items can be kept, inventory can be kept. So all of us. So rather than keeping inventory for us, we also understand and we respect you are not running a charity and you will charge for us, but we are willing to pay so that we can at least reduce our complexities. So it is a one-stop shop for us. We'll speak. So I'm coming back to the point. So inventory is not a solution. So then alternate logistics, alternate supply chain solutions, and a centralized repository of inventory. And if I go to Moses, okay, you spoke about data. So while traveling from Bombay to, I was speaking to the colleagues that data is available. It is not data is not available. But what we do is we don't have a taxonomy. We don't follow taxonomy for data. Okay, that is what. So I really do not know. We are breaking our head to find a solution to that. Okay, to have there is tons of data available, but the formats are different. So we are not able to analyze. We're not able to interpret the data. So that is a challenge I'm sure everyone would have. Okay, so we need somebody who can help us in standardizing the data, so that it will be helpful for all of us. Even Dr. Singh, I would request, if you can find with ISCM, okay, if a taxonomy, simple, don't go for a very expensive Ariba or SAP. I'm not saying anything to against SAP, but the solutions are very expensive when we were talking about taxonomy with them. Okay, so a simple solution we want, if it is possible to be developed, I would definitely want a platform like ISCM to take it up, and then we all would be a consumer to that. Okay, with that, as global logistics, I would rather say the current situation, we all are supply chain professionals, and at any age, being in this VUCA world is the best thing that we can, because it keeps us agile. So every day we have a different problem. I don't want to say that Trump is creating a problem, but the world is it makes agile, all of our minds agile, to face new problems, to find solution, and then next day get up and face another set of new problems and find solutions. So let's expect, and it should be, I rather, I thank God for this situation, because at least it keeps my mind agile. Thank you.
Right. I think when it comes to global disruptions, things are very interesting. My take, as Padma said, ISCM can create, we can structure the thinking so that you can implement, PadmaKumar can provide, or SAP can still provide the solutions. It's very important for us to understand and structure the whole impact on an industry. One, in terms of logistics, and this is where we have been ignoring this for too long to have an alternate, because it would require something more localized and diversified version of sourcing raw materials. Two, alternate routes in the time of any crisis. We have been moving to, even as a national policy for oil procurement, I think we have relied too much on the Strait of Hormuz. 3, what are the critical costs that are going to increase and how they're not only going to increase the logistics part, but they're going to affect your demand. And if they're going to affect the demand, they're going to affect your logistics. Now, this is very critically important to analyze this. You know, it's not a story. It's a very critical analytical challenge which can, with minimum amount of data that you have and you have been capturing, you can do this. What do? We have a forecast which is average, 100. When you are in a range of 5 to 50 to 150, you are planning for 100, you will always fail. I have a belief that you don't understand forecasting if you really go by the law of the averages. Here are events which are destroying your forecast. They're destroying your demand planning. You don't have enough understanding of sensing. Like as a moderator, I'm not supposed to speak much, but I thought put an end to this. It's very important to understand AI. For me, AI is nothing but another generation of technology. What does it mean? It means just 3 things. Can I understand problems with use of AI? What we call it as diagnostic AI. I will call it as diagnostic AI. 2, can I use the same data to predict? I'll call it predictive or generative AI. Can I prescribe solutions to AI? That is my agentic AI. Simple as it is, it's all about analytics. At the end of the day, emerging from machine learning as a base. Machine learning to be successful, a digital architecture has to be in place. Without a digital architecture, nothing happens. And hence, a digital statistics is, logistics framework is very important. How are we moving towards managing this particular challenges now? And how are we implementing this digital framework of logistics? What do we really need in this process? Do we need too much of data? One student 10 years back came and said, we use machine learning. We need data for 100 weeks. In 100 weeks, if a product life cycle has changed, the data has changed. You have to be very agile and say why you need data and what data you need. How is digital logistics important in terms of managing both local and global challenges? And that's very critical. For India to really become sound markets, we are not global market yet. We are a little part global, large local. And how do you manage this local logistics? And how do you create resilience in local logistics?
So I just want to add one point, like we're talking more on data, right? So I just want to give you an example. Like there is a large two-wheeler manufacturer, right? And the kind of, like, as a solutions company, like I don't deal with tangible, I don't touch any of your goods. I am a solution provider. I give you the dashboards. So for me, the requirement of data is how accurate can you give me is what I can give you back. So just giving you an example is this two-wheeler company, in north, black doesn't sell. In south, black sells. Black color, the bike black color, right? It sells in south. It doesn't sell in north. Diwali is big in north. In south, there's a different festival. So I'm giving them a solution basis on their sales numbers, basis on their data that they give me. Hey, this is what you need to manufacture, and this is how you go back. Like, okay, this is the number, and then you do reverse engineering, right? Then you go and to see your stocks, your safety stocks. Then you go back and you see what kind of raw material that you need. You go back to your spare parts, your SPD division, and then I'm also giving him your exact thing from raw material to FG. So this is the data that I need. And of course, the problem right now is because of sensitivity of data is why AI is not accurate, right? And of course, there is such a huge furor on AI. I'm again reiterating my point. AI is only here to scale your business. Human loop is compulsory, right? The decision making lies with humans. It is not here to decide a particular thing for you, but it will give you options. And that's what we do, and that's what I like to just add my final point on that, sir.
Hello. 2 points on that. In terms of the AI, last 1 year, yeah, in 25, around mid of 2025, we have started to move the demand planning into the ML based one. And it is not that one that is perfect for everything, but I can tell you some of the 70% SKUs, the total line what we have is around 1500 SKUs. 70% where we have improved 20 percentage into the overall accuracy of that one. So it is proving. However, what kind of structured data we have, cleanliness of the data we have, that's basically depending on that. These works, but depending on the inputs on that. Second point to Rakesh, your point in terms of the BCP. I think at this point of time, my experience is two things, all the relevant functions, especially on as Rajesh mentioned rightly, in terms of the demand, supply, RM, procurement, they need to have the regular engagement and providing in terms of the sufficient input to make the decisions. And decision making at this point of time is very important. We have seen in COVID time, the 1,000 containers become 5,000, 5,000 become 25,000, and then 25,000 containers also not available, then people go and book the chartered flight to move their goods. And there also that the decision making delayed, then the chartered flight also not available, which is translating into the plant shutdown. So take at this time that the accuracy of the decision is not that much of important, but yes, the speed of the decision is critical. So.
All right.
So Dr. Singh, on your point of forecast accuracy. Forecast accuracy to me, it's a myth. Okay, in this again, the VUCA world, okay. So we run two typical businesses in India, okay. One is a very structured passenger retail business where the forecast accuracy SKU wise it goes up to for A-class items, A-class only 10 SKUs, okay, for us. It goes as high as 84% and average is about 60%. Okay, and we run about 170 SKUs. Okay, and we have got another typical business where we make enough money from that business. It is 3,500 SKUs where forecast accuracy is 20%. Okay, so now AI itself is now it is shrugging its head and saying that no, I am not able to think. So, but humans are thinking. And we are running that business very efficiently, month after month, and we beat every month at least the targets that we are taking.
All right, that's another issue of forecasting. There's a panel coming next in the afternoon. I think we got to digress with AI. The idea was to understand a robust demand planning, which is nothing but forecast is just a baseline. It's never a demand plan. A demand plan is sensed with all the other data and all the other Salesforce intelligence. This is very important. Let me get back to clear logistics and local logistics. We have been talking about too much of dependence on road in general. How do we move towards a multi-modal logistics framework? I think the government has done its great job of Gati Sakti, where it has brought all the departments together, and it is creating an integrated business planning for managing logistics, and is pushing towards that. What has been the initiative taken to move to multi-logistics system in a highly price-sensitive market like India? Because as we saw in the morning, someone said the price sensitivity is a big challenge. What are the efforts that are being taken to move towards multi-logistics?
So again, let me answer for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we move. The gentleman from Bridgestone, he mentioned about 25% of natural rubber. And natural rubber, we all know that I'm coming from that state, okay? It's available only in Kerala, of course, and from Northeast it is being developed, but it is in a very nascent stage, but we still want natural rubber to produce a quality product to come from Kerala, okay? And it is in the southernmost end of it. So what we do is, we use ocean. First part is truck to the nearest port, from that to a port which is in the western part, and we take it all the way to northern part. And the cost efficiency is close to about 30%. So we are extensively using, and we are thankful to the Prime Minister and the Gati Shakti movement, which makes it very efficient, and the moment, and there is, and earlier, gone are the days we have to keep extra inventories, so if we have to move multimodal, but it's gone. It's a myth now. So we are able to manage our inventories because again, it's a cost to us, working capital. So we are able to manage with the whatever the developments that are happening in because of Prime Minister Modi's Gajbhiye Shakti movement and the current infrastructure improvements.
Sir, I'll just add one point here. We deal with a lot of clients, and we as Enmovil, we are multimodal, right? We do road, rail, freight, air, and ship. So we track containers, we track the rail movements and everything. So I think the clientele now are moving towards. So my goal and the clients that I've been talking to, or my existing and my prospects, their only thing is how soon can I get my commodity across? I will give you the solution, but how soon can you give it? So I think the current expectation from the manufacturers is that how soon can I give my product to the end client? And people are getting open to different ways. And this is purely from my experience from the market that people are getting, and especially with the initiatives from the government and the laws also being slightly more amenable, I think it can be done.
I just wanted to add a few points on the India logistics and multimodal logistics, what Dr. Singh and other panel members added. Yes, multimodal logistics is evolving in India, but still long way to go. I can quote some use cases in our company. We have combined multimodal logistics with the international logistics and bringing some critical raw materials from Korea by sea, then doing customs clearance in Mundra port, and then traveling to NCR region, that is in Gurgaon, by rail, that is by inland haulage, and then last mile delivery again by truck. Of course, it used to be much more complex before, but it has been more efficient now, but long way to improve further, because the transit from Mundra port to Gurgaon, it takes about 5 to 6 days, which is very, very long. So there should be much more faster freight corridors, faster movements, faster tracking. Even tracking today is very, very basic tracking systems we have. So long way to improve, but it has been a starting point where we are able to use it in a better way. And another point is that there are some cartels. When these kind of multimodal transports are operating, the cartels take advantage of the market situation to jack up the price. This is another challenge where there is no control on the price that you can predict. So this is also one challenge we are facing. But internally, if you see, the most problematic area is the last mile delivery. Last mile delivery has been the most highly expensive cost in complete logistics, because that is also very, very fragmented. There is no, even though there is some people like Porter, there are some aggregators today, still last mile delivery is one area we can improve on the cost structure in the days to come. There the technology usage will help us in a big way, because if you can compare with the other e-commerce players like Amazon or Flipkart, they are able to do in a much more efficient way last mile delivery compared to a automotive industry or a tier 1, tier 2 OEM industry. These are areas where we have a long way to improve, and integration of these multimodal transporters and linkage between each of them, that need to be strengthened. This is where we can drive more efficient supply chains.
So regarding on this multimodal, say that commodities, the bulk cargoes, correct, that in that one it used to be there and it's progressing well with all the government support on the infrastructure and all. However, that as he rightly mentioned in terms of the last mile delivery, one thing which is missing, like can the cargo which we are just moving through the truck, can we move that through the multimodal, one truck or two truck? It's with the same service level. I think that the answer at this point in time is no, because there's a multiple challenges. There might be not that the integrated available at this point of time. Coming back on in terms of it's a little bit different topic in terms of the last mile delivery. In our case, where we are having the decent exposure of the aftermarket, in the OEMs we call that the aftermarket, but for us is a normal in terms of the replacement channel and all. The last mile delivery is continuously becoming challenging because of the e-commerce providing in terms of the different service propositions, and it's going to be continue. The expectations earlier it was like a same day delivery or next day delivery. It's becoming now the hourly deliveries, and in that one, that can we meet that expectation through the faster trucks? I think that the answer is no. The only that in terms of that the right network setup only can help to deliver on that expectations, as well as in terms of that the good integrated transporters who is basically just optimizing the loads and all. So that's going to help us on the last mile delivery, and as he rightly mentioned that the 70% cost, what we are just acquiring at this point of time, it is into the last mile delivery. Whereas in terms of the running distance might be 200, 250 kilometers. So when we just compare that one in terms of the cost part, it might be per kg, per kilometer parameter, it might be the 10 times or 15 times what we are just incurring in the first leg of transportation. So that the critical, and here also that I think that some kind of AI based predictive analysis and all to set up making that network more dynamic is going to help. Yeah. Thanks.
All right. We move to the last question of the importance of warehousing and moving it from automation to intelligence in order to streamline the overall logistics cost as well as performance. Yes, to you.
Again, as I mentioned, our industry, black round, highly manual, and it is, we are now going for, I wanted to show a small video, but I was told not to show a video. Yes. So we have gone to an extent, we are setting up a new plant in Mexico. So there we are looking for MHPT, man hour per ton of, if it is 3x here, X in Mexico. So by having AGVs, and there is no push-pull, okay? No push-pull. I'm sure you understand what do I mean by push-pull, being done by man. It's all, be it up to 1 ton a fabric roll, a 2-ton mold, be it, we have gone up to 3 tons, okay? So we are able to move everything by AGVs and no manpower. And what we are envisaging is X instead of 3X MHPT in that plant. We will be able to achieve it because it's a new plant. We are designing that plant in such a way that there are no stoppages for the AGVs to move. And we have already done this in one of our plants in the West. So where we are extensively using AGVs. So the solution is, and when I said, so in a VUCA world again, we don't get the people who we want. And when we went to Mexico, it is all the more difficult to get people. And nobody would want, and tire industry, unfortunately, it's a dark, dirty job. Okay, nobody would want to come and work. So it is all the more important for us to use automated vehicles. So we can only look for, and we have machines which are operated. It is hands off, eyes off. Okay, so those machines, when we run it, even the lights are off. No man, hands off, eyes off. Okay, so what is the Niradhar? Niradhar is, I'm not saying that we will take away the jobs, but people can think about how to design such movements, how to design and repair the AGVs, and bring automation for an efficient manufacturing setup. That is what we are doing, and that is what I'm sure everybody would be doing. And we have gone very much ahead in working with our vendors, our partners, in designing, developing such AGVs.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question. We discussed about Gati Sakti. We discussed about multi-mode of transport. And we also know that the last mile transport, it delays and takes away all the advantage that we have got for the earlier mode of transport, right? And also we discussed that, in case of delivery from Amazon and all, they're all well, punctual and well documented and well informed to the customer. That means that the process is available in the country, and we have to adapt to the supply of goods for other sectors. Am I right? And if it is right, then why can't we adapt that in other, sectors? That is what my question is.
Actually, let me answer this question. I beg to differ that no, this last mile is a challenge for us. Okay, okay.
No, it is. It is. We are facing.
So it depends. Okay. So let me answer. So again, the India business, what I was talking about. Okay, our 98% of our supplies, 98% of our supplies happens in 24 hours. Okay, and that is up to 500 kilometers. So how are we able to do it? Okay, by having better planning and able and efficient partners who can help us and who will work with us as per our beck and call. So I would rather say it is a myth that, again, I'm using for the third time the word myth. Sorry for that, but it is the tertiary deliveries are not at all a booth for us.
Sir, I'll just add, I just want to add one point. You said adoption, right? So the reason why, Indian logistics market is, I think, about 19 lakh crore, right, as I speak, and it's all fragmented. The problem is there are solutions in the market, like a company of me or the company that I represent. We're trying to ease. The problem is change management, right? It's adoption of new technologies. It's getting away from your old trademark and getting into new technologies. The fear of losing jobs is high, but I'm saying I'll make your job much more easier, right? Adoption, that's the problem. And that is what I've been facing with a lot of clientele, is the change management. If we can have that change management done from the top. Now I am seeing with a lot of issues with the international market, logistics and all. So the plant heads are now getting into, okay, I think this is the right time to get us in. So people are going back to classrooms and going back to the old school now, and to see how we can do it. Because, come on guys, we are in India and we're one of the most technologically advanced, and we have solutions for everything. We have jugaad for everything, right? So it's the problem with the mindset. If you're able to change that, everything will be solved.
Yeah, as you said rightly, in e-commerce it works so well, and we can have good traceability and visibility both. But in other industries, we are not seeing this kind of a seamless logistics end to end. This is a real problem. We have seen this many instances happening, and it will come to for example, Pune city, but to reach our factory, it takes 1 day. This is the common problem we are facing in every day, and this is the most unanticipated, unexpected problems in the last mile delivery. We are seeing it day in and day out. The solution lies in developing a infrastructure like an Amazon or a Flipkart, where there is a real need of a technology orientation, integration across these logistics service providers and the users. But this is where they build this highly efficient software system and all technology integration, which is not done so far in these logistics systems that we see in our ecosystem. Of course, there are people here and there doing it. For example, company like a delivery, company like a porter, there are some companies now in the market, but it is long way to go to make it available commonly across every industry requirements. I think long way to go. It is mandatory that we have to do this. Then only we can see our industry agile, flexible and transparent. That is my view.
All right. Thank you very much. And I thank all the panelists for their views with diverse and adding some value and confusing you a little more also on the issues that exist in the logistic arena. I think confusion is a sign of geniusness. And that's where we move.
Applause for all our panelists.